Hello and welcome to another episode of Don't You Have Something Better to Do? I'm Chris Donley, your amazing and humble host, musician, songwriter, uh, professional hack. That's me. Just wanted to interview a bunch of friends, musicians, artists, writers, whatever. Just get the word out. If anybody checks it out, it's worth it. And I get to say hi and hang out with some old friends that I haven't for a long time. Today, I've got my old boy, Mr. Wes McCraw. Now, Wes was pivotal in my literally growing as an artist, as a recording guy, he taught me so much in the studio, I can't probably ever repay him. He's done my very first recording ever. He did, I don't know, probably 10 of my albums, I would guess, either with Sindust or my solo albums and other side projects. And then we have Wesley McCraw coming in right here.
Check, 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 1, 2.
There he is. What's up, pal?
Check, baby, 1, 2, 3.
How you doing, buddy?
What's up, Holmes?
Not much, man. How you doing?
Okay, good. I'm just doing the same exact thing as the last time you saw me.
Yep.
The same fucking basement in Norton, Ohio.
Looks like you got some more guitars out, though. You didn't have that rack last time when we were recording.
Oh, maybe not. Yeah.
Jesus.
Dude, I got that's not even a third of them. It's a sickness.
But that's the thing, though. You're honestly probably the best guitar player I know. No bullshit. And take a compliment and don't pshaw me.
I appreciate it.
I was just singing your praises right before you popped in, but do me a favor, kind of explain everything you do, and if anybody watches this, tell them all about yourself.
Okay. Well, first off, I'm the president and founder of the Chris Donley Fan Club.
I noticed a lot of dues are in arrears right now, so I don't know. I guess I haven't been putting out enough quality, so there hasn't been enough good stuff coming out.
Yeah, right. Well, I mean, I'm doing the same thing I've been doing forever. I'm doing production, music production, audio production with bands, corporations, voiceovers, whatever feeds the bulldog. You know how it is. Still playing lots of live gigs, mostly duo gigs. I'm, at any given time, could be playing with several bands, namely the Jim Ballard Band, a band named Nash's, Doug Kleiner Band, occasionally Mark Lee Shannon.
The go-to. That's what I'm talking about. You're the go-to guy.
Whoever calls me.
Because everybody knows that you're badass, and even if you didn't know a song, you'd know it. That's the weird part. Is like I put you up there with like Beato for me. Like
dude.
No, I'm serious. Like when it comes to like just nerding out and like you know exactly what chord to play when you need it and dude, I don't know any of that stuff. I still don't know how to read tab.
It's like I tell everybody, I make a living faking it.
Whatever.
I don't read that shit either. I hardly read anything. I mean, I can read chord charts, of course, like any idiot, but mostly it's just from playing long enough because I'm old as beep. Put a beep in there on the F.
I don't care.
And you've been playing forever. I've been playing forever, and it's I do have good relative pitch. I'll say that. If I hear somebody, if I know what key the song's in, I can usually guess what's coming next. If I've heard it, or unless it's something like if you get into something like Porcupine Tree or Rush or something, then I'm going to be screwed. But otherwise, it's usually songs are easy. Anybody can do it.
What'd you do to your wrist, man?
I got a little bout of carpal tunnel going on, and it's in check as long as I do this.
Really?
And it's strangely enough, you think it would be this hand from the guitar playing, but it's this hand from the mouse.
Really?
It's all the editing for all the years. Finally, it caught up to me.
And Creekside Audio, your studio, it's still called Creekside Audio, right?
Yeah, I never really liked that name, but it's stuck. Somebody just found me today on Google, and I did a quick session for somebody just because they Googled studios near me, and it came up, and so that's what I'm going with still.
Well, I finally got around to like putting like every single release or anything I've played on onto my Bandcamp. So I finally updated that. So I made sure I put you in the credits for every album you did with me, which was I don't even know 10, 12 albums. I don't know.
What?
I'll have to go back and look, man. It's always been fun with you and easy to work with.
Yeah, well, you're the OG. You started recording up here. You're one of the first guys that I back in the Sendust days.
Coming up on 30 years, Wes.
When you were still kicking it in Ashlandville.
We started recording that, I believe, in '96.
Dude, no fucking way.
Yeah, I think so. You were running that 8-track half-inch tape or something.
Oh, that's even further than I thought. I was thinking of Gettysburg Address, but that's even further.
No, the first one we did it in the basement, and you had to actually bounce drums down, and it was 8-track.
Well, what's crazy is I just did a show with the Fifth Wheel.
Oh, really?
Because they were doing like a reunion thing, and they were doing a live recording over at House 330, which used to be Tangiers over in Akron, and they wanted to record it. And so Tom Wayan called me and said, "Hey, would you be willing to come over and record with us?" And I'm like, "Here I am." I started recording you in my basement in Wadsworth, and then here I am, 30 years later, recording you guys on a computer.
Right.
A demon computer.
What program are you using now?
I still like Sonar, but I kind of been migrating back and forth between Studio One and because I'm Windows based, so I'm going with whatever's stable on Windows, and Studio One is probably the best Windows platform.
Gotcha.
But I still use Cakewalk just because I've been using that for 30 years.
Well, stick with what you're good at, right? I mean, that's why I'm still waiting to get good so I can stick with something. But
what are you recording on?
I got Pro Tools now, but I might be sending you some stuff soon just to mix if you're not too swamped. I mean, it's not. I wrote and recorded like 80 new ones for the new solo record, so I might just
80. How many? You got everything on Bandcamp. How many records do you have on Bandcamp right now?
I don't know, dude. The question is quality, right?
I'm just saying, I'm interested in the number of them.
I don't know. Because some of them are EPs.
That's for me a number. 40?
I don't know, dude.
Is it more than 40?
I don't know.
You fucking know.
When did you start playing guitar there, Wesley?
Probably 9, something like that.
Was it really? You took lessons and everything, or?
No, I never had a lesson in my whole life.
That's amazing.
Never.
That's awesome. I haven't either. I still want to, but I'm scared to.
I keep thinking one day I should probably learn actually what I'm doing. You know what was weird is I tried teaching guitar at Wadsworth Music for a couple of years. I did it. I kind of enjoyed it, but the hardest part was trying to explain to people what I do.
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't know what I'm doing. I've just been doing it since I was 9, and now I have to explain to you, oh yeah, that's a pentatonic minor. That's what I'm doing. And I didn't even know. I had to find out what I was doing and figure something out. But when I was a kid, that was kind of I was the only musical person in the family, but there was a guitar laying around. And so I picked it up and it became my favorite toy.
What was the first guitar?
Some old acoustic. I have no idea what the brand even was. And then I finally got an electric for Christmas one year. And then I heard Kiss and I was like,
really? Kiss was your jam, huh?
Kiss Alive 1 is the thing that set it off. I mean, I was already into music because I had a cool uncle that would play music, and he had all the cool records. He had Crosby, Stills and Nash and the Beatles and Grand Funk and all this stuff. So I was in, even like Johnny Cash and stuff and Hank Williams. So I was already exposed to like a broad spectrum of music. But then when I heard Kiss and then Aerosmith, I'm like, that's it right there. I gotta leave all this country shit behind. And I played nothing. And they played nothing but like metal up until I was like, gosh, probably 19 or 20.
Was it like kind of the rock stuff, or was it like thrash?
Define rock. Well, it was more like, it was probably rock because it would have been like
Rat, Motley Crue, Def Leppard.
No, this is before all that shit. All those guys were influenced by the shit I was listening to because, like I said, I'm old as. I was playing probably Judas Priest and Kiss and Scorpions and Thin Lizzy and who else were my favorites? And Ted Nugent back before. Just like that, classic rock stuff, you know. And then when I heard the Police, that's the
Oh,
that's the first band I heard where it's like there's other chords besides distorted bar chords.
right.
And I'm like, oh, I got to learn some of this crazy shit. And that's what kind of got me out of the whole metal thing. And then I started just doing different stuff. But
It's kind of funny because like in my youth, I was like the metal thing, and then I somehow discovered like all these other, genres and stuff, and it
yeah,
totally opened my eyes to a good song's a good song.
I remember hearing Jeff Beck for the first time and Eddie Van Halen. Both of those were like, holy shit, this is it.
So you actually were influenced by like the guitar gods like back in the day then.
I never, whenever anybody's asked me like who are my influences, I never really thought about Eddie Van Halen. But really, when I listen back to stuff I play, absolutely there's shit in there that's like, not that I'm doing hammer-ons and all that, but just some of the phrasing and stuff. Because it's all blues based, that and Jeff Beck and some of those people, and definitely. But yeah, I remember I came home because me and a friend of mine, we collected all these records because we were shoplifting from Kmart, and that's how I started my record collection, was just bags. We had this whole scam where we'd go into Kmart and like take a bag and walk in with it, and then put all these records in the bag and then walk out like we paid for them, and that worked for a while. And then we got busted. Before I got busted, I had like all these great records and all these great Aerosmith records and Kiss records. And
What was the first one you swiped? The very first album that
the
you
first one I remember getting probably was Van Halen, the first Van Halen record. I think that's one of the first ones I remember, and going home and staring at the cover of it and listening to it and hearing Eruption and being like, what the is this like from another planet?
was that 78?
That the year probably, yeah, I think it's 78.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I kind of know that now because there's been all these recent leaked pro shot Van Halen videos. It's been coming out on YouTube, and they're notorious for not having communication with their fans or releasing a lot of stuff, and they don't really have that many albums either. So all this stuff's coming out from some guy. It's even got like timestamps and shit on it, but it was shot on film, and a lot of those even go back as far as 78. But like their first couple of tours, first tour when they opened it for Black Sabbath and just totally blew them off the stage, because by that time Black Sabbath was full on into the whole drug thing and
Yeah.
on their way to breaking up. But
Were you Dave, Sammy, or Gary?
I love Sammy, I really do. But Dave it wasn't really Van Halen after Dave. It was a different band. It was a great band, but after Dave it was Van Halen. That whole first.
More songwriting, not as much silliness.
And I'll tell you what, too, Dave gets ragged on. And I read Ted Templeton's book, the producer who produced a lot of those records. And even the irony is Ted Templeton knew Sammy Hagar from Montrose, the band Montrose. And on that first record, he was producing Van Halen. He's like, this David Lee Roth guy sucks. I know this guy, Sammy Hagar. He's the singer in Montrose. You should see if you can get him. And they didn't, of course, until way later, full circle.
No way.
Yeah, but Dave, when you see him on those live recordings that are coming out now on YouTube, he's fucking, man, you can't take your eyes off of that fucking dude. He sounds good, and he's a true entertainer.
It's a samurai, man.
He does karate on stage. How can
Hell
you go?
yeah. Do you, if there was like one album, anybody in history that if you could be a fly on the wall, what album would that be?
Probably
Like a Beatles or something?
maybe something like that, or maybe
Because they were still bouncing stuff down. Like they were doing the multi-checking, but they did a lot of bouncing down, right?
I was thinking about the Beatles' White Album because it was like their first really sort of drug-fueled experimental album. That would have been kind of cool. But also maybe one of the Pink Floyd records, either Dark Side of the Moon or The Wall. Any of those ones that were like groundbreaking, like nobody's ever done this, Maybe maybe Rolling Stones, I don't know which one. Maybe Exile on Main Street, one of those. I don't know. One of the classic ones where it's just like, we've never heard anything like this before, and they were being very experimental.
Yeah.
And taking a lot of drugs. It's nice to hang around and take with those guys.
Exactly. That's the thing too. It's like, man, if you were in the thick of it all back then, it's like I always wished I was born like 20 years earlier, 25 years earlier, but then I was like,
Yeah.
man, I'd be dead in the 80s if that was the case.
Yeah, I think both of us would have been those guys that just didn't come through because we were just been too indulgent and all that.
What if you had to pick off the top of your head, top 5 albums all time? Quick guess.
For me,
Or top 5 bands. Actually, both.
okay, Jeff Beck is one. Queen, News of the World.
Wow.
Van Halen, Fair Warning. Or is that the name of the album, or is it Mean Streets? That was Van Halen, original Van Halen's, let's see, it was original Van Halen. Third record. Probably have put the Beatles' White Album up there. I'm probably forgetting something major because I hate these questions because I never can.
I know, but it's silly, but like there's
what
got to
else?
be some because like I ran into you at the STP show. I mean, like any of the '90s stuff, '80s, '90s stuff.
Tons of 90s stuff. I'm a huge STP fan. I think they don't get enough cred for
I
being
agree.
one of those bands. Everybody tries to think of them as sort of copying what everybody else was doing, but to me, especially the rhythm section.
Right.
I mean, the DeLeo brothers and Eric, what's his name? I forget his last name. The drummer.
Kretz.
Yeah. I mean, they're fucking the Led Zeppelin rhythm section.
Dude, and the Masters of Tone.
Masters of Tone, and talk about guitar chords. Who the plays
Right.
flat five like that, like Dean DeLeo's doing in STP?
Right. I
Then
mean,
you've got fucking Scott Weiland, which is the fucking David Bowie of the 90s.
yeah.
I mean, it's just one of the greatest fucking bands. And then after that, for me, probably be Soundgarden and then Alice in Chains. I was never a huge Pearl Jam guy. I appreciate it, but it just wasn't my thing in particular. But those, out of all those bands, I wasn't even a huge Nirvana guy.
I
But
wasn't either.
definitely Alice in Chains, Soundgarden, and STP. For me, those three from that era would be bands I would really like.
Any new stuff that's come out in the last 5-10 years? It's kind of like
Huge and Taylor Swift, huge. And I'm a Swiftie all the way through and through.
I'm a Swiftie.
I'm gonna give you a bracelet. We're gonna trade bracelets right now.
Dude, I'll go tomorrow with you. I don't know. I dig T Swift.
Stuff. Who did I hear? Oh, you know what? There's a band right now. There's a couple. There's a band called Krang. You know them?
Mm-mm.
They're a three-piece band from Austin, Texas. They're mostly instrumental, but they have this chick bass player, and she does vocalizations. They have some lyrics, but barely. But it's mostly like if you took 70s funk with like atmospheric Roxy Music era atmospheric with Earth, Wind, and Fire, but like with this cool ass guitar stuff that has like a Middle Eastern feel. I don't even know how to describe it.
Is
But
it C or K?
That's the
Krang.
weirdest thing. It's K.
Okay.
I don't even know if I can spell it. But anyway, it's Krang Band is how I think it's pronounced. But they're getting bigger. They do big tours. They're doing good business right now. I like them a lot. And I heard this, I just got turned on to this band called Improvement Movement.
Hmm.
They sound like if you took Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young vocals with porcupine tree music. Like it's progressive, but it's super vocal oriented. The songwriting's awful.
8-part harmonies on the vocals.
Well, there's 4 guys in the band. They all sing, and they all sing lead, and they all sing crazy amounts of harmonies. They're great. There's a lot of great music coming out right now. It's just so damn hard to find any of it because there's such a glut of it, you know.
Right. I feel the same way because it's like everybody has the opportunity. They can record at home if they wanted to. And that's the crazy thing too, is like kids are learning how to record properly and to make it sound great. It's wild, but that like digging through everything, there's so much.
Well, that's the joke saying that everybody says is that the greatest thing about modern technology is anybody can make a record, but the worst thing about it is everybody can make a record.
You're right. It's true.
Let me turn these faders down because I don't want to get loud.
It's all good, man. Are you doing any island gigs anymore?
Yeah, I still got my same Keys Island gig. I'm there about 4 weekends.
Are you there with the singer?
Teresa. I'm with Teresa Rose now. One of the girl singers from Wish You Were Here, the Floyd tribute band, and she's been a friend for a long time. And when Phil passed, I had to find sort of a semi-permanent singer partner, and she kind of wasn't doing anything at the time. So she's been the go-to. She's great, and so we're up there, the usual deal. 3 days at a time, 2 shows a day. 4 times a year, including Labor Day weekend. So, and that's it. But I couldn't do that if I was doing it up on the main drag with all the amateur drinkers and, you know. Can we say?
I'll bleep it out or I'll edit it. It's fine. Dude, I quit 4 years ago and I just took a pivot, and I feel like way happier and less stressed to deal with the drinking.
Well, particular gig is, it's such a older person's place to go. I mean, it's family friendly. People bring their dogs, and it's the only gig on the island. It's right on the water, and it's got a little amphitheater there, so it's just completely chill. Nobody's expecting a party to happen. We're just sitting there getting paid to play acoustic songs, and it's so easy, and that's why I keep going back. And they pay me, after all these years, they finally started paying me something, you know, decent money. But
good.
It's good, yeah. So I'm still doing that. I don't know if I'll keep doing it, but every year they ask me if I want to come back, and I'm like, okay, I guess I will.
Awesome. If you giving me shit about how many releases I've done, like, I can't even imagine how many albums you've played on, let alone produced and recorded and mixed. Do you
I would
have
not even
any
know.
clue?
I would not even know how to calculate that. I really, honestly would not. I used to try to keep track of it, but dude, anymore. I mean, I've probably done like 4 this month, different things that I hadn't done before. But
that's what's cool too, is like you've gone in and recorded like church choirs, you do like the voiceover stuff, you do when you still doing a bunch of like Hallmark, the greeting cards and stuff like that. Are you doing that anymore?
Not much anymore on that, because American Greetings, you know, they wised up and finally built their own in-house studio, you know, instead of outsourcing everything. Once in a blue moon, I'll get some kind of a thing where they can't meet a deadline, and I'll get a call from somebody, and it usually is because they need it yesterday and they couldn't get it done, but not typically. I just finished working. I had to write a piece of music for 2 pieces of music actually, for this Alice in Wonderland themed pinball machine that this company out in New Jersey is putting out. And they wanted music to be going while they're playing. They wanted like Danny Elfman type music, which is a pretty tall order.
Yeah.
I faked my best Danny Elfman type thing and gave them a couple of pieces of music, and they were happy with it. And then this past week, all week long, I was recording a full-length audiobook for this guy who's written a book about his dad, who was in World War II. He was born in Brecksville. It takes all the way through his dad meeting his mom, all the way to getting drafted, going to war, going to D-Day, surviving Normandy, coming back home.
So are you doing like bombs and stuff going off?
It's not a fully produced thing. This is just straight narration, like most audiobooks now. I mean, nobody's got time or budget for. I mean, as I'm going through it, I'm wishing I could put some music and bombs and that, but no, it's just straight voiceover.
Well, like you even did like toys and stuff. Weren't you working Mattel and stuff for a while?
Hasbro. I did a lot of stuff with Hasbro.
Right.
Yep. A lot of toys and some Transformers toys. Even now, I think there's still some on the shelves at Target and stuff. You can go in
and for the Mid-Ohio area, the General, right? You can't forget about that, man.
Yeah, I did a lot of recordings of the General voiceovers and played the theme that you hear. It used to be. I don't know if they still use that theme or not. I don't think they did.
Like the marching one?
Yeah.
Right.
Now, I didn't write that. A friend of mine actually wrote it years ago, but I had to replay it and reimagine it when they started the commercials up again. And my friend Rick Sellers did the voiceover for it. And then he was a voice of General for like 20 years, and then it was acquired by a different company involving Shaq. Right. Shaq bought a controlling interest in it, and then they switched things up, and every good gig eventually goes away. And Rick,
you got to meet Shaq though recently, didn't you?
I did.
Yeah.
Back in 2000, maybe it was 17 or 18. Rick and I went down to Atlanta because they were doing a filming at Turner Broadcast Studios. They were making some of the commercials, and they wanted the General to be there to interact in real time with them for some reason. Because usually we would just record everything here. I would send the files out to California. They had put it all together with the animation and then put it out. But in this case, they wanted him in person, and they didn't really need me, but I went, and me and Rick went down together, hung out all day at Turner Broadcast Studios with Shaq and the crew and the producers from everybody that were from LA, and
Do they have like a fake, like little cartoon guy or something with the mouth moving?
Oh, for that, they had Rick actually doing the interaction with him in real time on a green screen.
Oh,
So
okay.
they just went back later and they put in the cartoon general, but they did the voiceover work in real time with Rick, who was being the voice of the general. And Shaq, man, he's exactly what you see on TV. He was a cool guy, but you're not prepared for how
How
big,
big?
gigantic. Like
Yeah.
he shakes your hand and your hand's like a baby hand. Like it's so ridiculous.
Right.
But he was a super cool dude, and it's just good to meet him and hang out with him. I got pictures with him and stuff, and then I came back to Norton.
It's all good, man.
All good.
How much material do you find yourself writing your own at all, or are you just probably too busy? Because I remember I tried pushing you to do that a long time ago, but like you were too swamped to do it then. You did the one Ocean Sounds album, or like
Yeah.
the cool guitar.
Strange enough, funnily enough, I've just started finally doing some solo shows, mostly instrumental, doing some of those songs on that record and doing some new ones I've done too. And it is on my agenda, as it has been for like 15 years, to do a new album of all new original stuff.
Do
But
it.
who's got time? That's the problem.
You got time.
I don't know when, I'm a people pleaser and I don't say no. Everybody's like, hey, can you help me with this? I'm like, okay. And then I go do it. And then my thing gets back to the back of the bus again. But I am starting to I've done about 3 solo shows where I've done, 90% instrumental, which I was nervous about because who does that,
Mm.
And strangely enough, people liked it.
More than you think. I know some guys around town, they're just stupid good, where I'm just like, want to quit. But it's mostly original stuff. But
Yeah.
that's the thing. It's find your right niche and you're set up, you know what I mean?
So I think I'm going to start doing some more of that. And then the Traveling Johnsons thing, I've been doing that for so long. I'm kind of burned out on it. I mean, I still do it for certain, the Bay and corporate gigs and certain things, but I'd just rather switch gears and do something else. I'm getting older and I don't know how much longer I can play, so I'm just trying to start only taking gigs that I really want to do as opposed to just what I have to take.
Well, you and the lovely Lisa are still doing photography too, right?
I don't do it anymore. I mean, on a rare occasion, I'm kind of the fourth string photographer if these kids we got working for us can't do it,
Oh, I didn't realize you had like people working for you now.
Well, Lisa's got maybe 4 or 5 employees
No.
that do stuff, and actually she's going to get out of it too. She is currently sort of transitioning and training them to take over the photography company.
Wow.
And eventually they're going to be doing it, but they've been working for us for like 10 years, so they're like family. We know them,
Right.
And so it's that's the plan, is to eventually just get out of it and maybe have her sort of do some of the administrative stuff and mostly to stay home
Hmm.
and have a little revenue stream from that, but just kind of turn it over to the next generation because nobody wants to see our old asses showing up to do some 24-year-old girl's wedding.
Whatever.
Dude, we
Dude.
started doing weddings. We were doing it so long in the wedding business, we would start showing up and the parents started looking young. It's like, okay. They do the anniversary dance and they would do the whole thing where it's like anybody that's been married, 30 years, 40 years, leave the dance floor. We were getting close to being the winners. And I'm like, you know what? We probably need to get out of this.
No. Time isn't real, Wes. You know that, brother. All right, so go back in time. Unlimited budget. You're able to put out whatever album you want. Who's your guy to produce or record or mix, master?
It might be, I'm going to be leaving somebody out because I know a lot of producers, but I might say Jeff Lynne.
Really? ELO, huh?
Yeah, maybe. But the obvious thing would be to say George Martin because he produced some of Jeff Beck's records. That would be one too. There's some great ones. There's this guy named Daniel Lanois.
You too?
Produced a lot of the U2 records. He's
Right.
produced a lot of people. Or Brian Eno. He did David Bowie, Talking Heads.
Yep.
So that'd be another one. Maybe one of those guys.
Cool.
There's some of these young whippersnappers that are pretty good now that are.
Dude, that's the thing though. Like I don't know a lot of who they are because I'll buy an album online and not as often get the hard copy. I mean,
Yeah,
My
that's the thing about that. You can't now see. You don't have the liner notes anymore. You can't see who who played on it, who produced it, all that stuff.
Well, my dumbass got a record player, so I've been collecting vinyl of my
Nice.
very favorite albums of all time. So, that's my fourth or fifth time buying that album. Bought it on cassette, bought it on CD, probably bought it digital. Now I got it on record. It's so stupid.
That's what these record companies are smart at, getting you to buy the same product 5 or 6 times.
Yeah, I suppose. If you could join any band, who would it be throughout time?
I'm just being forced to come up with answers because I know I'm probably forgetting who it would really be.
It's all good.
To pick one, this is going to be crazy, but maybe REM.
Really?
Maybe.
You gotta take over Peter Buck's spot, huh?
Maybe.
No
That'd be one.
I never knew you were an REM guy.
Yeah, I'm an REM guy.
Huh.
I know I'm forgetting because there's probably bands that I've always thought what a fun band to play in, and I just can't. They don't come to mind right now, but that's the one that comes to mind off the top of my head.
Do you say they got together and did a show like a week or so ago?
In New York or something?
Something.
I think I saw that, yeah. I just finished reading listening to one of their audiobooks, and it was an interesting story, but that's the one that comes to mind right away. I can't think of one.
Well, like we said earlier, probably, you join Van Halen or any of those bands, you probably wouldn't survive, right?
No, I'd be dead.
What's a song you wish you would have written?
Us and Them by Pink Floyd. It's just off the top of my head, but I think that's definitely up there. You know what? Another one is She's Leaving Home by the Beatles. That'd be another one.
Okay. Is there any genre you just kind of just despise, cringe, hate?
Hate's a strong word, but if I can't do the cookie cutter Nashville country music sound that comes out. There's lots of great there's some guys like Tyler Childers, and I'd even put Chris Stapleton in there, some of those guys that I really do like.
But it's the pop stuff with a fiddle twang.
Luke Combs and all that, the Kenny Chesneys and all that shit. Please, I've had enough of it already.
Now I was just told that they're mixing metal with country or something.
They're trying to do everything to make country cool. That's all they've ever done.
It's impossible because country will never be cool.
Well, it's only cool when they go back to old school, like the Johnny Cash type or the Hank Williams or Waylon Jennings or any of those guys. Those are all cool. The outlaw country, that's what's cool.
Agreed.
And they take it and they dude, I was watching this Rick Beato episode talking about the dangers of AI and modern music because, now all these producers, when they do demos for new upcoming artists, rather than hire all these musicians to come and give them jobs and play on these people's demo songs, now some of them are just telling AI, giving them a prompt and having them do the song. But he had AI do this just as an experiment live on his YouTube channel. He had them do create a country song. He put the lyrics in there and everything, and the fucking song that came out it could have been on the Nashville thing right now. It was equally good. The lyrics were equally stupid.
Right.
And I hate to be, these guys are selling ass loads of records, so who am I? But I'm just saying, you asked me, so.
No, I'm a hater too. It's fine. The way I feel is they could have had AI 15 years ago doing this, with all whatever. I don't even know it's popular anymore, honestly. And
who does?
I don't even know if I care. If I find a new song that I like and I want to learn it, I will. But I'm really close to absolute freedom in my life because I rarely know who is popular in the the pop culture zeitgeist.
Right.
And I literally feel like I'm real close to absolute freedom because that I don't care.
I used to try to keep up with it so I could be on top of what the latest trends are and everything. But anymore, I'm just I don't even give a f. There are some people I'll hear a Billie Eilish song, and I like.
I love Billie Eilish. I
think the production's great, the songwriting's great. I like her style and everything. And if I hear a song I like, or someone like a Brandy Carlisle or somebody, great. And there's a lot of those out there, but there's also so much shit to weed through that's just
right.
But I could not tell you outside of just Googling what's the top 10 Spotify artists this year or this week. I couldn't tell you what's what's cool right now. I don't even know if kids know what's cool.
Are you learning any like new top 40 or anything in the last 5, 10 years?
I've been playing like the same 30 songs for like 40 years.
But it's because they have staying power. Like,
Well, I that's halfway a joke, but I just stick with classic rock because it always works.
right.
Even kids play Pink Floyd and Led Zeppelin and the Beatles,
Mhm.
it always works. I mean, and who the wants to see some, 60-year-old dude up there playing Taylor Swift? I mean, how creepy.
I just played a T Swift song today, so I don't know. You tell me. I'm not 60 yet, but
Right. Well, I'm just trying to stay out of the creep zone. Although it is cool to take a song and kind of make it your own and do your own thing with it. But
yeah. What's your worst vice?
right now, it used to be drinking, but right now it's probably sugar. I
Really?
got us some sugar right now. It's funny because I kind of, as an experiment last May, well, it was partly medical and partly just because I was just getting tired of feeling tired. I stopped drinking and I was going to do it just to see if I could do it for like a week. And then a week happened. Then it was 2 weeks. Then it was a month. I'm like, well, shit, I feel good. I still wanted a beer really bad, but I'm just like, I'll just see if I can keep going. So in May, that will be a year.
What?
Yeah, dude, I know.
I don't even know you
Who
anymore.
am I?
I don't even know you anymore.
And people still can't believe it because, I've always been the, hey, let's do a shot guy.
Yeah.
But I fucking got tired of feeling rough and so I tried it. And then I was fairly healthy when I went to the doctor, but my weight was up and they were like looking at my numbers and like, you got a little bit of a fatty liver. You might want to think about cutting back. And I'm like, let's just try to quit for a minute and see what happens. And I did. And I haven't been doing it. But since then, though, I never gave a shit about sweets. But when I quit drinking, dude, I
Yeah,
can't
sweet tooth.
shove fucking chocolate in my mouth like a crackhead. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Back in the day, you were doing it too, probably, at gigs, just drink.
Of course.
You
Dude, you
know,
wouldn't even start playing until you had a couple of shots and a beer in you.
right.
Who else is in a business where part of the business model is you get faced for free
Right.
every night?
Yep. It's
Every
our
night you
job.
play.
It's our job to sell booze, man. Or if it's a restaurant, sell food. It's
That used to be my excuse too. It's like, how can I really honestly make a sale on this beer and alcohol if I can't show that I'm enjoying the product myself?
I guess. I don't know. I literally only a few times a day do I. I'm just kidding. No, a couple times a month now, and it's most of the time alone, just because I don't want to offend anyone.
Right. No, I totally get that. Yeah, that's but yeah, it used to be drinking because it was hard. I tried before to quit drinking and I just couldn't do it, but I finally kind of, for whatever reason, it stuck for a minute and it still has. But since then, it's definitely sugar and sweets and stuff like that. And I'm kind of California sober. I'm doing a little bit of gummies and a little bit of weed every now and then, but
Right.
it's not the same thing. I'm not addicted to that.
Yeah. Do you have like a couple favorite memories of your whole musical career, that like the first big show you ever opened for somebody, or like that's the thing, you've played with so many amazing musicians that I don't even know, I can't even list them, even if it was like cover bands or whatever. Like you played with Chad Zaliga from Breaking Benjamin, you played with Bob, you played what was the Elton John one that you did?
That was an Elton John tribute band. Actually, the Elton John
That's right.
Billy Joel tribute band. And that's probably one of my favorites because we did a lot of touring around the country, but we also played.
Did you do Disney, didn't you?
Yeah, we did Disney World a few times in the summer.
Right.
And that was cool because it was at Epcot Center. They treated us treated us like rock stars. We had catering and they had unions. They wouldn't let us pick up our own gear and that kind of stuff, and roadies and all that kind of stuff. And we'd be there for several days at a time. And that was probably one of my most fun gigs that I've done, I guess. And then outside of that, I don't know. I mean, I've opened for a few people. I opened for Kansas one time. That was kind of fun. And
Because you grew up in North Carolina, right?
yeah,
When did
yeah,
you move to Ohio?
in '88,
88.
before you were born.
Whatever. What's your number one guitar right now that you're playing out with?
Well, because most of my gigs are acoustic, I'm still doing, I play acoustic based stuff mostly. And I've kind of fallen in love with these Fender Acoustasonic guitars.
Do you still have that one with the Strat neck?
Yeah,
Do you?
I got that one, and I got the Tele version, the Strat version, and the Jazzmaster version. I really like those because they play like electrics and they sound like acoustics.
Right.
They're light as hell. They feel like balsa wood. There's nothing to them. But outside of that, if I'm playing electric gigs, it's definitely a Telecaster or a Stratocaster. I'm definitely a Fender guy,
Yeah.
but mostly Teles anymore. That's my go-to.
Hmm. You ever tried to get an endorsement or anything? As much as you play, as much as you do.
Nobody gives a shit. Nobody cares. No, I don't.
I do.
I know you do. You give me an endorsement or endorse me.
I just did.
I never did try. I probably could have, but I just never. I'm fucking lazy and I'm busy.
Oh, you're not lazy, dude. You're the last thing that's lazy. That's not it at all.
I never tried to. I thought about trying to. Actually, when I played in the Calabash band back in the early 2000s, I think we had a string endorsement with SIT as
Oh,
a
really?
band.
Okay.
For a while, I had that, but it wasn't really my personal. It was just a band endorsement. So I did have that for a minute. I got big discounts on guitar strings, but
Did you ever have management through the years at all? Or
no.
anybody that
Well, nothing outside of booking agents.
right,
Never a true like manager.
right. Do you usually take your guitars to go get worked on, or are you a gear guy? Like, I know you're a gear guy, but like, if you wanted to swap a neck with one guitar to another or something, do you do that yourself, or do you actually take it to?
I used to always take them forever. My guy was this guy named Dan Johnson, who was an Akron guy. Everybody went to Dan Johnson. He's a genius, freaking guru of guitars. So much so that he ended up being the guitar tech for the Black Keys, and that's where he's been for the longest time. He actually started off with Judas Priest, and then he went to started doing guitar tech for Black Keys. He still does that. So once he left, I started going to Lay's Guitar Shop
Oh, really? Okay.
back right, but maybe a year, 2 years before COVID. I decided I was going to learn how to work on my own guitars. And I decided I was going to do that by taking a part-time position at Lay's Guitar Shop to work there.
Ah, I did not
I
know
did
that.
that for a couple of years, and I did learn how to work on my own guitar. So now
So you,
I built a couple of guitars, and I can set them up, and I can refret them, and I can fret level, crown, polish, whatever, change pickups out. I can do all that stuff now, but I used to take it to somebody for all that.
so you use them to like teach you how to do it yourself. I
I
mean,
used them so hard.
you want to talk about lazy? I've been doing this how long? I just now finally got my own recording rig like 5 years ago because I
Yeah.
never wanted to be the engineer guy. I was always like, I'll go to Wes. I'll go to somebody else. I finally did it, and now I don't even know how many albums I've recorded. So I'll
Well,
play.
that's how I started it. I mean, when I started, the whole idea was I've got these songs, I want to record them, but I don't want to pay anybody.
Right.
So I just figured I'd learn how to do it. And that's kind of the same reason I started working on my own guitars, is because I just wanted to learn how to do it. And I probably would have stayed there, except I was so busy in my studio and stuff. It was costing me money to go there and spend 8 hours for a couple of times a week. And I enjoyed it, and I learned a lot.
Right.
Uh, I'm no luthier, but I keep my guitars playing the way I want them to, which is nice. Or if somebody's in the studio and there's a string buzz or something weird's going on, I can fix it,
Right.
keep recording, which is nice.
I still take my stuff to Dan at Yurko's. Oh,
Yeah.
Gable, my boy Gable. I even found my mom found my very first like J.C. Penney guitar ever and brought it to me.
Really?
Yeah, it's like this tiny little thing, and I had drawn all over it and broke a mirror and glued it to it.
Penises? You do penises all over it?
There's a couple. And they were. I'm pretty sure they were all circumcised.
You ever saw that movie, Super Bad, where
Yeah, they're all veiny and circumcised and all
you're drawing penises? Grammar school?
they're just on my guitar. When I took that to him, I'm like, all right, this is gonna sound weird. Do whatever you want with it. I cleaned it up first,
Yeah.
but I was like, can you put a good pickup in it? but I want the total piece of shit in there too. So like I can have like a Smashing Pumpkins mayonnaise guitar. So if I take my hands off the string, you know, just to
Yeah.
see how that'll go. But I haven't heard from him for a minute, so I'm not sure how close he is. But well, Wes, dude, I said it earlier, and I don't even know if I could ever thank you for everything you've done for me and taught me and everything. Like literally, you walked me through how to start singing harmonies and stuff like that, man. I I don't
Well,
know.
appreciate that.
I'm eternally grateful, but also, you should have probably told me, dude, you should have quit fucking 30 years ago.
You wouldn't have done it if I'd even told you.
Yes, I would have.
Not have done it.
I
And I
listened
would
to
never have told
everything
you
you
that.
say.
Yeah, that's my job in the studio when I get a new client in or a friend who comes in to record. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to be a friend right now and tell you need to. This is not for you.
Just be honest, man.
Be an accountant or something.
I was like 17, and you should have just been like, dude.
And even back then, you were fucking awesome, and that's why I wanted
No,
to.
I wasn't.
I kept working with you. You were too.
Anyway, well, Wes McCraw, Creekside Audio. Anything you want to plug or anything? I'll put all the bio and links and everything.
Had to, when you asked me that question, I really had to do a quick self-edit because like 5 answers came to mind. None of them I could say.
Okay.
When you say, is there anything you want to plug? Yeah, there's things I want.
All right.
I don't think so. I mean, just the studio and, anybody's got a cool gig and needs a guitar player.
How booked out are you for studio time? Because you were always swamped.
I'm pretty busy right now, but it's, I've got a few clients because I've been doing this so long. There's a few people that they come back over time. So I've got maybe 5 or 6 people that it rotates.
Mm-hmm.
I'm always pretty busy. So,
got hose in the Holodex.
If someone needs to come, yeah, exactly. So, but if someone wants to come in, like you or anybody, I just make time. I mean, that's what you do. That's why I only need to sit here in the basement and get sores on my ass from sitting in this chair for so long.
Whatever, dude. Well, thank you for taking your time, Wes. I'll let you know when this comes out, but I appreciate it. And I'll put all the links and everything. And hopefully some people check all your stuff out, and hopefully some people go record with you.
Okay. Well, I appreciate it, man. Let me know what if this happens and link me or tag me on whatever it is.
I will. We'll have to go to dinner sometime soon. And
yeah, you're just in Hinckley. It's not like you're 40 minutes away in Ashland anymore, or Lakewood, even worse.
Yeah. Well, I was in Avon for a minute too, for some years.
I have a strict no Avon policy. I don't go to Avon.
Really?
Yeah.
What?
Wanted by the FBI.
Whatever. Well, Wes, thank you, brother. I can't thank you enough for everything you've done for me. So,
man, I appreciate you saying that. I really do. It's we've known each other a long time. I'm glad you're
30 years, dude.
Glad you're still around doing what you do.
Yeah, I'm surprised myself.
Yeah, right. I thought I'd be dead by now, personally, but
I was trying, but still, that used to be my motto. Let's see if we can die tonight. But
yeah, right.
But anyway, thank you for everything, dude. Give your wifey a kiss for me, and I will talk to you soon. Okay, brother?
Okay, man. Sounds good. I'll talk to you later.